Have you ever been watching an extreme sports video, maybe a snowboarder just launching into the sky, and you just think to yourself, how on earth do they do that? Well, today we're going to pull back the curtain and break down the actual physics that lets these athletes go so incredibly big. Seriously, it looks like some kind of magic, right? One second they're basically standing still, and the next they are just flying through the air. So where does all that explosive energy come from? It's not coming from nowhere, I can tell you that. And we're about to find out exactly how it works. And just to give you a sense of the scale we're talking about, let's look at some numbers. Get this. The world record for speed on a snowboard is a mind-blowing 203 kilometers per hour. I mean, that's faster than you can legally drive on almost any highway on the planet, but on a piece of wood. And if you thought that was fast, a skydiver in freefall can hit speeds of nearly 290 kilometers per hour. That's what's called terminal velocity, the point where the air itself just won't let you fall any faster. This isn't just about being fearless. This is pure, raw physics at play. All right, so here's our game plan for cracking this whole thing open. First, we're going to uncover the big secret to all this speed. Then, we'll get into the two key types of energy at play, stored versus motion. After that, we'll look at gravity's role, and then the incredible power of the bounce. And to wrap it all up, we'll reveal the single formula that connects everything. So spoiler alert, the secret isn't some hidden superpower. Nope, it all comes down to a fundamental principle of physics, the conversion of energy. The best way to think about it is that these athletes are absolute masters at loading up energy, kind of like coiling a spring as tight as it can go and then just unleashing it all at once. Okay, so to really get that whole energy conversion thing, we need to meet the two main players in this story, potential energy and kinetic energy. You can think of them as two sides of the very same coin. So first up, we've got potential energy. This is basically stored up energy. It's energy that's just waiting to be used. Think of a rubber band you've stretched all the way back. All that tension? That's potential energy. It's not doing anything yet, but you can feel it's ready to snap. And the moment you let that rubber band go, that, my friends, is kinetic energy. It is the energy of pure motion. It's the snowboarder blasting down the mountain. It's the skydiver in freefall. And it's simple. The faster something moves, the more kinetic energy it has. So let's put it side by side. Potential energy is that energy waiting to be used. It's the calm before the storm. Kinetic energy is that energy in full-blown action. It's a direct trade-off. You cash in your stored energy for the energy of motion. And this brings us to the most important rule in this entire game. It's a law of the universe. You can't just make energy out of nothing, and you can't destroy it. All you can do is change its form. And that right there, changing energy from potential to kinetic, that's the master key to everything these athletes do. So, let's see this in action. We're going to open up our first case file, gravity's thrill ride. Here, we're looking at sports where the main engine of conversion is that force we all know and, well, that we all know, gravity.
Think about a snowboarder. It's a simple three-step process. First, energy goes in. The ski lift does all the work, hauling the boarder up the mountain. Step 2, that energy is stored. At the top of that mountain, they are sitting on a massive amount of potential energy, thanks to their height. And then step 3, energy is released. The second they point that board downhill, gravity takes over and starts converting all that stored potential energy into the pure kinetic energy of speed.
And you know what? We see the exact same pattern with a skydiver. An airplane does the work, lifting them thousands of feet into the air. All that altitude is just stored potential energy. Then they jump, and gravity immediately starts cashing in that potential for the breathtaking kinetic energy of a freefall. It's the same physics, just on a much bigger scale.
Okay, so gravity is a huge player, but what about sports where you're not starting on top of a mountain or jumping out of a plane? Well, let's open our second case file and look at the power of the bounce, what we call elastic force. Take a trampoline. A gymnast jumps down, putting energy into the trampoline mat and stretching it out. For that split second, all that energy is stored as potential energy in the stretched fabric. And then, boom, the trampoline's elastic force snaps back, converting all that potential energy into kinetic energy that launches the gymnast way up into the air. It is the exact same story with those incredible spring stults that let people literally jump over cars. The user steps down, compressing the huge spring and loading it with potential energy. Then, the spring's powerful recoil releases, converting that stored energy into the kinetic energy of a massive leap. See the pattern? Energy in, energy stored, energy released.
So we've looked at snowboarding, skydiving, trampolines, spring stilts, and on the surface, they all seem totally different, right? But what if I told you they all run on the exact same operating system? It's time to reveal the universal formula that's been hiding in plain sight. I bet by now you've started to spot that pattern, haven't you? It doesn't matter if it's gravity pulling you down a mountain or a giant spring launching you up. The mechanism is identical. Because the secret, the real secret behind every single one of these incredible feats is the exact same formula.
And here it is, the blueprint. Step 1. An initial force puts energy into the system, whether it's a ski lift or your own muscles. Step 2. That energy gets stored as potential energy. And step 3, another force, like gravity or a spring, comes along and converts that potential energy into the kinetic energy of motion. That's it. That is the physics of how to fly.
So let's boil it all down. The big takeaway is that these athletes are energy wizards. It's all about conversion. They build up potential energy, stored energy, and then use a force, like gravity or elasticity, as the key that unlocks it and transforms it into the kinetic energy we see as amazing speed and incredible height.
But you know, this formula isn't just for extreme athletes. It's happening all around you, every single day, in everything from a simple bouncing ball to a massive hydroelectric dam. So my question for you is, now that you know the secret, where do you see this formula powering your world?